Hey John, how's it going? It is Bree here with Allscapes Marketing. Simon asked me to go ahead and record this audit video for you, so I'm going to go ahead and take a look at your site, your online presence, some of the things and issues I found, and how you can improve those. So, starting with your website, you've got a really nice site. You've got some beautiful photos here. I love the little photo running through. So a little bit about you guys. You've been in business for 65 years. That's great. Your services, the gallery. I love the gallery. You guys have beautiful photos. I also noticed that you guys were an NALP member. We are as well. I love it. You offer in the areas you serve. This is great. If I was a homeowner, I'll see immediately if you serve my area or not. And even some job opportunities. Cool. Okay, so overall the site is looking pretty good design-wise. The main thing I'm noticing here is there's really not a whole lot of content on the site. There's not a lot of words here. Very few, actually. This is really like some of the only content. And this is an issue for two reasons. So the first reason being is that Google has these crawlers, and the crawlers come through, they read the content, they're trying to figure out what areas you serve and what services you offer. The more content you have, the more you're going to look like an expert in Google's eyes. And in addition to that, you want to beat out your competitors. For example, if they had 1,000 words, then you would want to have 1,500 words, etc. And within that content, you also want to have keywords. Keywords are things that someone would be searching for. So if someone was Googling landscaping company Chicago and you had landscaping company Chicago all over your site, you're going to be really relevant for that search, and Google would be willing to put you higher at the top. Okay, and if we look a little bit quickly into the back end of your site, I did run a report on it, and we can see that you do have some good power going to your site, and I'll explain more of these things. So if you don't know what that means, it's okay. And we'll kind of go through what's going on here. So your ranking isn't great, your listings aren't great, but as far as your Google business profile, at least the bones of it are okay. The site's got some issues there as well. So there's a lot on here. I'm not going to go through all of it because it would take me forever. But just to give you an idea, this is good, so I'm not necessarily going to go through it, but this is kind of like your website's power. You've got some good power in your site. These are just some keywords I saw that you were showing up for, but not great. So Chicago landscaping, Chicago landscaping design, landscaping Chicago. Okay, so you can see you're doing okay. Not ranking great. Your Google business profile doesn't appear to be ranking for any of these. Your website's ranking okay. Not great. Oh, sorry, this is the one that you're ranking for. It actually looks like you might be ranking in second for this particular term, but the rest of them, it doesn't look like your Google business profile is ranking for, and the website's not doing great. Your listings, so listings aren't awesome, and we can kind of see like, okay, you have a BBB and it's claimed. And these are the ones that's missing on Facebook. You have a Facebook. You want consistencies in the name, address, and phone number. So there's an inconsistency in the address. It's not found. Same thing for the postcode, not found, but the phone number is good. These ones aren't found. MapQuest is not claimed, so it's unclaimed. It's here, but the address is wrong and phone number is missing. So, all right, so you can see there's a ton missing. Reviews are good. They can always be better, right? But overall, you're doing okay. You don't have anything for Yelp, Foursquare, or Yellow Pages. Here's some of the reviews. And here's a good thing to see. So for the keyword landscape contractor in your area, like Bluff, you can kind of see some of the top people who are ranking. And so we can see how many photos they have, how many reviews they have, what their overall rating is, what category they're using on their Google business profile. So this is really important to know. Okay, we can see up against some of the top 10 people, your site. So some of the issues going on here. Your Google page speed isn't awesome, so it means your website's loading a little bit slow. And this is getting really technical, so I won't dive that deep into it, but there's definitely some technical issues. There's descriptions missing for your pages, so when Google sees a page, there's a description which is missing, and same thing for the photo descriptions. This is saying there's almost all of the pages on your site, like there's 21 pages that have 500 words or less, which is an issue, but the other ones do have more content. Okay, mobile, your website's loading really slow on mobile. There's some issues with the schema, which is coding. And then this gets really into the technical per page, so I won't go through that because that would take us forever. But just to give you a little bit of insight as to what I found with your site. Now, I went ahead and did a Google search for Landscape Design Chicago, and this is called the Google Guaranteed. These actually are Google ads, but they are doing fabulous, and I highly recommend if you don't have a Google Guaranteed ad, setting one up. They do really well as long as you interact with it. When a lead comes in, mark it booked or dispute it or whatever, just follow up with it and you'll do really good. This brings in a lot of leads. This is the map pack. We talked about how you're not in the top 3 for this, and we kind of went over why. A lot of those directory listings are missing and there's inconsistencies in the information. And this is called the organics. This is where the websites are ranking, and we, of course, went over that. But for this particular word, Landscape Design Chicago, we can see Reveal Design is the top site. So let's just take a look at their site. They've got more content, got some photos, some reviews. I actually don't like their site. It's very basic, and I think you have a much better site than them. But let's take a look at their site and why they're ranking. So this is another program. It's a little bit easier to view, so I'm just going to go through it here. We can see their website power, right? We saw yours. We can see their website power. And one of the main ways to raise this is through something called a backlink. And a backlink is really just a shout out from another website or an endorsement. So that means there's 425 sites that are endorsing them, or at least they have 425 links from those sites. And that's an important way to raise these numbers. So we would take a look at how many of these you have. We can actually click on them and get them for your site. Now, lastly, and most importantly, I want to talk about the keywords. So this is where we actually do our keyword research. We can see Chicago landscape design. There's approximately 150 people who are Googling this. Landscape Design Chicago, approximately 150 people who are Googling this a month. Chicago Roof Deck, approximately 200. I'm not sure if you take care of those. Chicago Backyard Design, approximately 50. Landscape Designer Chicago, approximately 80. So this is per month, right? So we can see there's actually quite a bit of people searching for landscaping and designers and whatnot in Chicago. Obviously not surprising because that's a big area, but that's really important. The more people that find you, the more people that are going to call you, and the more clients you're going to land. So obviously we want to get you found for those words. Now, when we compare, your DR and UR are actually pretty good. So the power of your website's doing pretty good. You have a decent amount of backlinks, but that does make me concerned that maybe some of these are spammy because these numbers should be a little bit higher. But the main issue that I'm seeing is that you just don't have those keywords in the content on your site. And so when we look at what main keywords you're being found for, okay, we can see your name, some other names, okay, in Spanish, Chicago, okay, so here we go, Chicago landscaping, which is a good word, but you're in roughly 12th place for it, roughly 13th, right? We kind of went over you're far down. And a lot of those important words aren't necessarily being picked up. So we want to get way more content on our site. We want to get those keywords in there. We want to fix some of those consistencies, right? So just to give you an in-depth audit of your site, I don't want to overwhelm you. Don't feel like you have to memorize all these things at once, but just to give you a little bit of an insight into some of the things that we would be talking about and things that need to be fixed. So I look forward to speaking with you on Friday with Simon. It would probably be good to also have a Zoom, so we can either have a phone call, or if you'd maybe like to hop on a Zoom, we can show you some of these things a little bit better, up to you, but that's what I would recommend would be a Zoom call. And I look forward to seeing you on Friday. Take care.